Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to 30 on Thursdays, SuskyTech's bi-weekly webinar series. Let's go ahead and get started with some logistics, housekeeping. For those of you joining us for the first time, 30 on Thursdays, as I said, is a bi-weekly 30-minute webinar series where we talk about anything and everything related to SharePoint. We've been doing this almost, it'll be 2 years beginning of next year, and we've covered a lot of topics. Our next one coming up, our first one in 2013, is going to be on Nintex 2013, and I'll get a preview of that, one of the leading third-party add-ons for SharePoint. You can get a full schedule of all of our upcoming webinars. We'll be releasing the schedule for 2013 here shortly, but you can get that at suskytech.com/webinars. Today's session is being recorded. You can get all of our past recordings as well as the recording for this one at suskytech.com/archive-webinars. And during today's session, if you have any questions for Terry as he goes through the top 10 things in SharePoint 2013, go ahead and use that question window at the right-hand side, and we'll save all the questions to the end. We'll kind of go through them and give Terry an opportunity to answer them. One of the things, in addition to the 30 on Thursdays that we here at SuskyTech do, is we do a longer form web-based training on some pretty hot topics in SharePoint. We've done about 6 of these this year, everything from responsive design to metadata to BI to developer class, etc. And those are all available. You can buy the recordings of those at suskytech.com/online training. And right now, for the month of December, you can buy all of them together at one pretty low price. So it's almost 18 hours worth of training for under $400. So if you're interested in any of those, you can check that out on our website. And again, today's topic is top 10 features of SharePoint 2013. Our presenter today is Terry Simpson, one of our senior solution architects here at SuskyTech. I'm Steve Witt, and I will act as your moderator. And if you have any questions, again, use the question window or the chat window. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Terry, and we'll get started.
Great. Thanks, Steve. So give me just 1 second to turn on my monitor here, and as soon as we start showing the screen, we'll get started. All right, so let's show my screen. All right, and so you should be able to see my screen now. So what I want to do is I want to take you through 10 features or things about SharePoint 23 that I've personally identified as things that I'd like to highlight. So this is definitely kind of my own personal list of things that I would show off, or at least that I'm excited about in the new platform. So the environment that I'm using today is on Office 365. It's a 2013 environment that I have, and I'm going to be using that to drive through everything. Now the site here is pretty much 100% out of the box, so this is the exact home page that you would see as soon as you install SharePoint 2013 or get your own environment. So there's really no customizations at all. We want to kind of stick it to right out of the box as far as that's concerned. So in the next 20-25 minutes, I'm going to go through these 10 different items, and feel free, like Steve was saying, to input some questions into the chat box if you have them, and at the end we'll kind of wrap up and talk about those. So the first thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about is search within 2013. And there's been a lot of changes and enhancements to search coming out of 2010 that you may or may not be aware of. So within 2010, you had the ability to go out and purchase FAST and have the FAST functionality within your website. But now within 2013, FAST is going to be there right out of the box, which is a wonderful addition to the platform and really, really enhances the end user experience that I want to kind of drive into today. And there's a lot of things related to search that aren't even directly the search box that we're going to go into now and look at. But, you know, things like the content query web part. So if I ever wanted to roll up content from multiple sources or a location, I could use the content query web part, and every time the page would load, it would go out and do that query and return the information that we had asked it to. And one of the nice things about 2013 is that Content Query Web Part is going to still be there, but for the most part, we're now going to use the search interface because search gives us much more instant gratification. It's much faster and really just performs so much better than what the Content Query Web Part does, so that you can use that search web part to do the same thing that you would do within the Content Query Web Part. So that's one of the big changes that you'll see going into the platform. I want to perform a quick search here. I'm just going to search on the term SharePoint and immediately get 6 different results. All of 6 are coming from the site that I have, or the site collection that I have right here, so that one can immediately come in and see what those items are. Now you'll notice I'll hover over this particular result, and you'll see that item show up on the right-hand side, which is actually a preview of the page for that particular result. And I can come over and hover over any of these particular items and see what is going on with each of those. Now I want to expand my search a little bit outside of my particular site because I don't have a lot of content. So I want to come over here and filter and say I want to search on everything. And now the world has really opened up to see all the results for the environment that I'm in now. And so as I hover over these items, I'll see the page previews for each of those items. In this particular scenario, see all these different pages as they're showing up. Come down here and we'll even see some more. So it's really nice to be able to see these results, and I don't even have to click on anything, so the end user experience is pretty seamless. But once I get over here into the search results area, I can come and open up that particular page. I can choose to follow that page or even send it to a particular location. So there's a lot that we can do within that. Now let's do another little search here for PowerPoint because I want to look at some actual documents. And I really love the search interface and how it integrates within Office. So if I come and look at one of these individual items and hover over that item, you're going to see the preview for that particular PowerPoint show up. So when I do that, you'll see that Office Web Apps is currently running in this environment, and I see the PowerPoint. I don't have to select it and download it. I see a quick preview, and I can even click through each of the slides that are in that PowerPoint presentation. I can choose to follow that item. I can look at the document library that contains that item. So there's just a lot of metadata and information that I can get here. And if I want, I can even open up and look at this particular presentation right now within Office Web Apps. And so it opens up into a new window, and I now have this within this particular browser, which is great because if I happen to not have Office running on this particular machine, I don't have to worry about that because I can just open it right up in the web browser. So it works really great for those type of scenarios. So I really love this kind of interface where you can see all of these things. As far as the refinements over on the left-hand side, very similar to what you've experienced in 2010, so I can come in and refine the results to Excel, OneNote, whatever type of document it is. Furthermore, refined based upon the author, and then there's a change in the way that you can get the modified date. So I can see items here, and I can even take this little scroll bar and move this down to just a month ago, a week ago, all the way into today to kind of refine the time frame of those results. So it's kind of a nice way to be able to filter all the metadata that we have over here on the left-hand side. So beyond search, a couple other things that I want to point out is SkyDrive. I want to talk a little bit about the SkyDrive for a second because that's a new feature within SharePoint 2013. So I'm looking at my site here, and you'll notice up here in the right-hand corner we have the SkyDrive button. Now this is not my personal SkyDrive that I have out there where I store all my personal images and pictures that I take on my Windows 8 phone, all that kind of uploads to my personal SkyDrive. But this is a SkyDrive within the SharePoint environment. Think of it as your work SkyDrive. So I have my SkyDrive that I have out here. I opened up or loaded up a bunch of presentations when I came into work this morning. And this is out here and now viewable for me to get access to wherever I'm at. So I don't have to use a local file share or anything. I'm just going to keep all the items out here. You'll notice there's a folder out here called Shared with Everyone that comes right out of the box, and you have the nice icon here showing that we're sharing it. And if I choose, I can put items in here that I do want to share with other individuals into that folder, or come in and modify the security, because you'll see all these are locked down so that only I can see those. One of the other things I'll point out is this little ellipse here that allows you to get access to a lot of information. So if you ever trained anyone on 2007 or 2010, remember you used to have to tell that individual, and it was kind of hard to do over the phone, put their mouse over the title, and all of a sudden that little drop-down arrow would occur, and typically you had to take 10 or 15 seconds to explain that to a user for the first time, and it was kind of hard to find that feature. So now we have this little ellipse over here that we can just click on that gives you all of that functionality that was in that drop-down. So we can open it, we can share it, we can do whatever we need to with that particular item. Now, one of the third features that I want to talk about is uploading documents into the SharePoint environment, which I really like within 2013. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this environment, and I decide, you know what, I want to open or upload a few more documents into this environment. I can find that location, so I have a folder over here of some different documents, and if I wanted to, I could take a couple of these documents and add them into this particular document library. Now historically I have to click Add, select which ones I want, but we can now just drag and drop these. So I'm going to take these three, drag and drop them right there, and they're going to show up within the document library that we have right here. Immediately available for you to have, and it's so easy to kind of upload this content by just literally dragging and dropping it in here. The other thing that's really nice is that you can sync this SkyDrive up to a folder on your local machine if you'd like to. So on my desktop, I literally have a folder for my SkyDrive, so that I don't have to access all these elements through the website directly. So what I want to do is show you that. So I'm going to drag and drop the particular folder on my other screen here. And you'll see here, 2013 SkyDrive. Now I'm going to open up that particular folder, and we're going to see right here all of the items that are in my SharePoint SkyDrive all synced up right here on my desktop, which is really nice because if I ever want to add things into the site, I don't have to open the web browser. I just have this folder sitting here, and I can drop items into that folder as needed. And this folder just synced up, so you'll see that Word example 1 is there. And now I see Excel example 1 and PDF example. So it just synced up all the items that I just uploaded into the SkyDrive out here on the site. So kind of a nice user interface, and gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to add things right there on demand. All right, so we talked a little bit about uploading documents, the SkyDrive, and then also the search. So the next thing I want to talk about is a little bit of the social experience within SharePoint 2010. And there's just a tremendous amount of functionality, and we could spend an hour or two on this if we wanted to. So I'm looking at my site here, and as I've landed on this page, we see a little bit about myself over here. Here's my email. I don't have an office location noted. You have the ability to tag things and have notes out there. So if I wanted to, I could tag items about myself, or someone tagged me with a particular item, you could have it out there. And we can see all of the information in a roll-up kind of in my news feed over here of activity that I've had today. So I uploaded an image down here at the bottom, and I made a status update pertaining to that image. I went out and grabbed a video, and I uploaded that video into the news feed. So it's really nice to be able to come in here and have this experience. I've started to follow a couple folks. I made a blog post, posted something about today's webinar on the 30 on Thursday. There's just a lot of things that you can do within this particular page. That's nice. So what I want to do is I want to open up in a new tab this particular news feed. And let's give this a second to come up. And within that page, we can update my particular news feed with items that are going on, just like you would do within Facebook or LinkedIn. And there's a lot of flexibility within that particular area. So within the My Site, I want to go out and look at the news feed for my particular environment. So we'll see things that I've done today. I'm following this community. I've updated comments. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do within this site. So let's put a post out here, say showing off 2013. And then I can go ahead and say post. That's going to put that out there. I can also come out here and say, I'm going to make a comment about a certain individual here. So Lisa Malone, and it's going to go out and find her. So you notice here within Active Directory it's found her. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm mentioning her, putting that out there on my post, and you'll see that mention for her. And then we can go out and even see her profile as well directly from this location. And this is going to show up in her feed as well. So I have mentioned her, so this is going to show up in her mentions area just as like if she would have done that for me. So we can go out and tag pieces of content. We can see what's trending over here on the right-hand side. A lot of fun things that we can do. So I'll go out here and see Lisa's area. Here's the organizational chart, which shows Lisa within the organization, what managers we have in common. So there's kind of some fun things that you can do from this social perspective over here. 46 different people that I'm following. Don't have a lot of content as far as document and tags are out here, but kind of neat things that we can do from there. The other thing that I want to do is I want to come back over here and look at a particular community site. So let's talk a little bit more about this social functionality. Now within the page itself, you're going to notice up here that I can follow this page, and I can choose to click that, which I've done a little earlier. But now we have this community site template, and within the community site template we have a lot of discussions that are going on right now. 127 members of this community. I want to join this one, so I'm going to go ahead and click Join Community. See 8 different discussions, all right here, of which we have 19 different replies within that. And I have this nice little web part over here that has the top contributors for this particular community. And this is all baked into 2013 in a template so that you can stand up your own communities and groups and have that functionality. Now we can dive into a particular discussion right here, and we'll see that he's put some, he's going to get a camera for Christmas, so he put a question out here and someone replied. And then I can come out here and say, love that camera, and make a reply as well, and then we'll immediately see the reply that I put there on the site. So lot of great things that we can do from the social aspect within 2013. Activity feeds, we have reputations, so the more activity that you have on the site, you can start to get some, I'll call it flair or badges as far as that's concerned. You can have a lot of control over the point value, what it takes to get a certain badge or reputation, and those type of things. Some fun things that you can do around social. And there's a lot of things that are coming in the future with Yammer and those type of integrations as well that if we have enough time we can touch on a little bit more. One of the things I want to talk a little bit about is branding, so that if we come back to my particular home page here, we can play with the branding a little bit so that we can see different things going as far as a visual look and feel. So what I'm going to do is come up here to Site Settings, and I want to go to Site Settings and modify the design on this site. And there's a couple things I want to talk about when it comes to design. You don't have to be dependent necessarily on SharePoint Designer now. You can use Dreamweaver, Microsoft Expression, any other HTML editor to modify the design. But we now have this Design Manager area where you can come out and actually create a design package. So if I had a public-facing site, I got it all ready to go, and I want to move that to another location, maybe a development environment, I can package that up into this design package, download it as a file, upload it, and all my assets are there for that particular design. But I can also come out here and kind of modify the theme a little bit. So that's what I want to do on this particular example. So this is the theme we're using right now. But if I wanted to, I could choose a very different look and feel or theme. So let's come down here and grab this kind of wooded theme. And I want to use this for my site. But I may not like this particular image that's over here on the left-hand side. So what I want to do is I want to come back to my desktop here. And I think I've got an image of this building. And I'm literally going to drag and drop it right over here. And that image is now going to be displayed in the background for this particular design or theme that we have right here. So that image is uploaded. I kind of see the preview here, and then I can even try it out. And the page is going to come up and allow me to see this particular item and what it would look like. You notice SharePoint 2013 is a little more friendlier. It says, working on it. It shouldn't take too long, so you have some kind of friendly messages there as far as that's concerned. So now we're going to see the theme that I just created along with the image that I just uploaded. And that'll take just a second to see it. And then we can decide whether it's not quite ready, so we can click that, or we can say, yes, keep it, and it'll go ahead and publish things. But this is kind of a preview of what my site is now going to look like with that theme in the background. So there's some fun things that you can do as far as design within the 2013 environment that you see right here. The other thing that I want to show off a little bit is how the store, or I'm going to call it the App Store within SharePoint, works. So I'm going to come back to my home page here, and let's go and look at all the site content. So once I click on that, we'll see that I have several things in here as far as site content is concerned. But I want to come and add a particular app. Now, it could be an app that's here right out of the box, which we're calling all of these things apps. It could be a custom list, a new document library. Those are all apps. Or I could choose apps from this store, which is really nice to be able to do that. Some of these apps are free. Some of them cost money. There's just a lot of things that you can do with these particular apps that are now out here in this marketplace. Literally select one of the apps, and then I can install them right from this location. Now, what I have done already is selected an app and downloaded it, and it was free. So I downloaded the Dilbert app, and I also downloaded the Nintex app, so we can quickly put those onto the page. So I'm going to come back to the home page, come down to Site Actions here, and just edit the page, and I want to add the Dilbert app right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a web part down here at the bottom. There's the app that I already downloaded. Literally took maybe a minute to download it. Add it to the page, and then we're going to be able to see it as soon as I publish it. So let's come over to Publish, and then we'll see the Dilbert app down at the bottom of the page. Great way to get some of that free functionality that's out there in the marketplace and in that app store. Organizations can go and even build their own apps if they would like, and get access to those as well. Something's going on with my connection today, because I just added this a little bit ago, and it had worked just fine. But that's okay. So when the page refreshes, hopefully we'll see the Dilbert app and it'll function there. You can do this with weather, news feeds, a lot of other elements or things that you can do within that in particular environment. The other thing that I want to show off a little bit is tasks. So there's a project site that you can get right out of the box. The project site template comes with this kind of Gantt chart up here at the top. And then we even see this kind of, I'm going to call it the Windows 8 kind of interface right here. And we see how these tiles are kind of interactive, and you can use these for news roll-ups and a lot of things. And they added some nice features here, so if I want to take this out, I can just hit remove this, and it's gone. And they do that for a lot of the things that you know that you're going to remove right out of the box. Now, within this particular list, I'm going to go ahead and click on tasks, and we're going to see a lot of different tasks, or 3 different tasks that are in here. Now, if I want to go and add to this task list, I could click Add New Task, but I like to put this in edit mode. And then I can literally come in here and say I want to do an IA session, I want to do creative design, and then I want to do training, and then we're going to have launch, and then we're going to have post-launch, and then we're going to have support. I can come in and do all of this really, really quickly. I don't have to come in and add individual items into this list. We can assign a due date right here. So let's say that these items are due on the 20th or 21st. We can pick those dates. So let's say 12/21/2012, and then 12/22, and just kind of keep going through the list here of when these items are due. And then over here on the right-hand side, we can assign who needs to be the owner of those, and it will make suggestions of who those individuals are. So I'm going to assign Lisa to some, and I'll put myself on the rest. And all of these tasks, once I stop editing them, can be saved to the timeline that we have up here. And it's really nice to have those into the timeline so that you can see a graphical representation of that within your timeline. And it's nice to see that so that you can go out to Microsoft Project, import some projects into the site, be able to see those elements here and see what's going on with that particular timeline. All right. So I'm not going to save any of these items. And then you can choose to remove these from things from the timeline as well. So I can open the item, I can remove it from the timeline, or even create subtasks down here at the bottom. And then even within the My Site area, it'll take all the tasks and kind of aggregate them and roll them up into one area. Two other things I wanted to talk about, mobile views within 2013. It's a lot more flexible so that you can look at a kind of contemporary view of the mobile site and then be able to switch back to a full screen as well. So you're going to notice that within the 2013 environment, right out of the box, the mobile view is enhanced. Although you'll probably want to still put some HTML5 or CSS3 into the site to have more of a responsive design, but there's a lot of flexibility in what you can do and what you can see in that environment. And the last thing that I'll touch on here is the concept of shredded storage and kind of duplicate documents within SharePoint 2013. Out here within the environment, if this would have been a duplicated PowerPoint presentation, you would see over here duplicated copy to the right of this. So SharePoint's going to look for those duplicates and then allow you to take action on either getting rid of one of the duplicates or modifying them, putting them in the central location, or changing a link, something to that effect, so that you are not storing as much items out there that are duplicated, and it kind of reminds you that, hey, somebody's already uploaded this document and it's in that other location. So a lot of great things that you can do within 2013. This is just kind of a highlight of the elements that I have found very helpful and user-friendly for me. But I think from here, we'll let Steve kind of maybe bring up some of the questions if we have a couple minutes.
That's great. Thanks, Terry. Yeah, we have a bunch of questions. Kind of go through them in the order we got them. So a couple of the first ones are around the search demo that you showed. First question is, do search previews work for PDFs? I think you showed us an example of PowerPoint. We could see the preview kind of jump to the slide that actually had the keyword hit when you searched on it. Does it work for PDFs as well?
Yeah, and I believe it does. And one of the things you'll have to do is install the PDF eye filter in there, just like you did with 2007 and 2010. So that way, search will go and index, within those items, and that way you can see the icon over here that shows PDF. So that'll still function within 2013.
Great. Next question is going on to the drag and drop functionality that you showed, both using the SkyDrive as well as just dragging right into the browser. Can you drag and drop files to upload on a Mac?
I believe you can, and I'm about 90–95% sure when I say that. I think that you can, but I'd have to test that out because I have not opened up a Mac and attempted to do that, but the concept is there. I'm not sure what bits or elements you need to have this function as far as getting the Mac to work, but I'd love to be able to test that, but I'm pretty certain that you can.
And along those lines, is it IE only, or on a PC can you also use Chrome or Firefox and do drag and drop?
Yeah, you can use all those elements if you need to. So open up Firefox or Chrome and be able to drag those right in there.
Okay, great. Next question. The questions are flowing in now. Is there still an Office upload service that does the file process in the background?
An Office upload service? I believe there is. Now I know within like Office web apps, obviously that's going to live under a server itself, but I believe the process doesn't change much between 2010 and 2013 as far as that's concerned.
Okay, great. Next question goes onto the SkyDrive. Can it be renamed for Intranet Solutions?
Yeah, you can definitely come up here and kind of rebrand it or rename it if you want to. So it's called SkyDrive here, but you can come into the master page and change this to be SkyDrive or something to that effect if you wanted to. It still functions just like a SkyDrive, but I think you can definitely come up and probably rebrand it just in a visual representation in the site, or change the link to another one. And there's a lot of flexibility. Of course, we're looking at the site right out of the box here, but you can change some of those elements if you wanted to.
Okay, great. Next question is, you had briefly showed the org chart, which I think is similar to the one in 2010. Is that pulled from AD?
It is. It definitely is pulled directly from AD, so that when you go and look at another individual's particular profile, you'll see that organization chart, and that does pull from AD. So let's go look at Lisa's here, and we'll see hers real quick. So we'll see it here, and that's all Active Directory stuff. So within Active Directory, they've filled out who their manager is. So these are all of Lisa's peers. They report to this individual who then reports to this manager. Yep.
Okay, great. Is there still the developer dashboard that will show page load speeds in 2013? Is the next question.
I'm not sure about that one. I haven't played around with that within 2013, but I'd have to look into that and see. I'm not totally confident that's still there.
Okay, next question. People noticed that there's the LBI that was at the top of your screen. I think if you go back, there was an LBI feature, and they're asking if that is standard in 2013 or is that an Office 365 feature?
I am not sure. I know that I'm working within, obviously, the Office 365 environment, but I don't know if that's exclusive to this environment or not, so I'd have to defer on that one.
Okay. Next question, any difference in the blog functionality with 2013 as compared to 2007 and 2010?
Yeah, that's a good point. So let's go to the blog page there real quick, and I'll show you a couple items. So I went out, created this blog yesterday. You can come out and change kind of the view here, so I can look at the basic view or the box view of this particular blog. The nice thing is the micro-blogging aspect of this. So I can come out and like it, I can email it, and then we can come in and edit this particular blog. And then we can come in and see all the comments for this particular one. So I can add additional comments, do a lot of different things for this particular blog area. So I want to say, great post. And this whole kind of micro-blogging ability to come out and comment is really nice to collect these feedbacks within here. So that's probably the biggest enhancement within 2013.
Okay, great. Next question is kind of a follow-up to that is, can a blog be easily added to a public-facing site?
Yes, absolutely. So all this blog site is a site template. It doesn't matter if this is an intranet, extranet, or public-facing website. You could use it in this exact same fashion on a public-facing site and take it to the extent even more that you can use the search web part to then roll up blog posts to your home page. So if you have a public-facing site and you want to communicate the last 3 blog posts, take that search web part, add it to that particular zone or area on the site, style it the way you want it, and have the blog post roll up into that environment. So there's a lot of flexibility, especially on a public-facing site, to really maximize the potential of what's there in the templates.
Yeah, and there's one other follow-up to that. I don't know if you know the answer to this, Terry. Does that then allow anonymous comments if you publish it, outside the firewall as part of a public-facing site? Can people comment anonymously?
Yeah, that's a really good question. That comes up a lot for the anonymous comments. And I know within 2007 and 2010 it was a little more difficult to do that, and you had to kind of almost write a little custom thing in order to allow anonymous posts to be out there. So it can be done. So if you wanted to have anonymous posts, you could get it done. The easiest way to do it is just have your authenticated user do it right here, but it could be done if you needed to.
Okay, great. I think this would be the last question. Is the SkyDrive Pro in the cloud or within the organization?
So it's within the organization. So in this scenario, on Office 365, I'm already in the cloud, so it's out there in the cloud. But if you had an on-premise installation of 2013 SkyDrive, Pro's going to live right there within that environment on that server that you have locally. So it's really not out there in another location. It's there within that server and a feature of what SharePoint 2013 is in that particular environment. So for me personally, I have a personal SkyDrive that I use for a lot of family stuff, and then I have the SkyDrive on this site right here that I use within Office 365.
Right, just to add to that, Terry, I mean, one of the things that Microsoft did in 2013 is they kind of relabeled what used to be the My Sites as SkyDrive Pro, right? So they already had a SkyDrive product out there that was kind of, attached to, Hotmail and other things that people were using for personal, and they brought it inside, made part of 2013, and then also kind of merged the My Site functionality. So you're not going to see mention of My Sites in 2013. You're going to see SkyDrive Pro, which again I think is going to take a little while to get used to if you've been working with SharePoint for a while, because you're used to the My Site concept. And with that, I think that will be, one last question, Terry, sorry. What determines, you showed the kind of the duplicate checking where things will get flagged as duplicate. What determines a duplicate document? Is it name, title, content? Do you know what algorithm they're using to figure that out?
Yeah, my understanding is it's pretty basic as far as the file name that's uploaded. So I upload it with XYZ .doc document. If that's duplicated, it's going to reference that. So it's not a scenario where the majority of the content or 99% of the content within the document is the same as another document. I don't believe it's going to go to that extent. It's more around the name of the document being duplicated.
Okay, Terry, I think that's the last question. I'm going to go ahead and take control back. I want to thank everybody for attending. Terry, I'd like to thank you for presenting your top 10 list of features in SharePoint 2013. I'll go ahead and throw those up on the screen real quick. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is being recorded, and we will post it out on our website the next day or so if you want to rewatch it. These are Terry's top 10 that he went through today. If you want to get a hold of Terry or myself, our contact information is there on the screen. Again, this is our last 30 on Thursday for 2012. We look forward to seeing everybody in 2013. Actually, on January the 13th, where we're going to talk about Nintex 2013 and some of the great things that Nintex is doing with their workflow and forms product. With that, I'd like to thank everybody, and that'll conclude today's webinar.